This is the week that we're finally going to be able to drive our miniature Corvette go-kart bed. And you might be asking, why do we have this very super nice Gixxer 750 20th edition in our shop? And the answer is we need its engine, because this engine has a paper clip in it. We pulled the head off of it and we found a paper clip and some serious damage in there, and we just don't want to fiddle around with it. We rebuilt the 1000 for the Jeep back there, and it was just a real pain. We want something that works extremely well. So we're gonna take the engine, wiring, ECU, and everything else out of this bike and put it in this go-kart. And then we're gonna take it for a rip out on the open road and see how it works. The first thing that we gotta do today is get the old engine out of the Corvette and put our new engine in the Corvette, which is gonna require taking everything off of this bike, wiring, ECU, engine, all the controls, and transplanting it over to the Corvette, and then making some front engine mounts. Because we haven't done that yet, we kind of were expecting we might need to get a different engine for this machine. And since this is a couple years newer, it's just smart to have it in there before we make the mounts, just in case anything changed in those couple of years. So let's get the engine out of here and get it in the Corvette.
Oh.
The engine is out, man. Oh.
Oh yeah.
That was in there. But now we have a good engine, a good platform, a good heart to put in our Corvette. And this thing is gonna be ready to rip. Okay, so we got both of these engines out, and I can already see a massive difference in the new engine. Look how dirty this one is. It looks dirty, it looks abused. And we also did get an entire bag of bolts with this that could probably reassemble the whole thing. So that's why we're switching over. I don't think this is worth a rebuild. The head's damaged, the pistons are damaged. There's just so much damage. But with this one, it looks super clean, very well maintained. I think it only has like 7,000 miles on it.
Yeah, this one is mint.
This one's mint. So we're gonna take this one, put it back in the Corvette. We'll know we're at a good starting point. We'll know we have a healthy engine to build off of. And then we can put all the supporting mods on it and finally hear the Corvette start up, which I'm very excited about.
I'm so excited to hear it start.
I'm very excited to hear it start, especially with that custom exhaust, dude. It's gonna be so premium.
I don't know what it's gonna sound like.
Neither do I, but I am happy that this engine looks a lot cleaner. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like, there is a very different color to these engines.
Oh, you can tell.
This one looks like it's been underwater somewhere near the Titanic, and this one looks like it's been in the Sahara Desert. That's what I like to see. That's how you know you got a good engine, brother. All right, our new engine's in and our exhaust is connected. Now it's time to take care of the slop in this chain. If you can see, if you come over here, you'll kind of see that this flops around and there's no way to tension it right now. So we'll just continue to get more loose, which we don't want. So we're gonna make a super simple tensioning system that is basically just a bolt connected to some high heat plastic that this chain can ride on so that we can adjust it and hopefully not have it fly off and hit you in the foot. Really gotta protect yourself with this stuff. It's toxic as the dickens. What does it put off? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. That works quite nice. So the way that this tensioner works is it just got a bolt going through a piece of plastic, 2 lock nuts up here, a nut down here. So you loosen that up, it will drop down a little bit, you tighten them back up, and that will be the height of the chain. But right now it's set to be at the chain's tightest point, hopefully. That's how I designed it, hopefully that's how it works. But this chain should be extremely tight now and have no wiggle if we did this right. Yep.
Nice.
So that's pretty appropriate for that one. And since it's such a small chain, I don't think it's gonna stretch very much. So I think that amount of play, we have about a 1/4 inch of adjustment, but that should work pretty well. Now we just gotta actually put this chain on and we can work on our front motor mounts. Now that we got the chain figured out, it's time to move on to our front engine mount. And we haven't made that yet because the engine we had in here previously, we kind of always knew that it wouldn't work out and we didn't want to tie ourselves down to a design. But now that we've got a good engine in here, it's time to make that motor mount. And we're going to do something slightly controversial. We're only going to make one to offset the look of this exhaust. I think it's going to be way strong enough because it's all made out of DOM steel. It's going to come up to these 2 points right here. And basically all that engine mount does is stops the engine from turning side to side. So should be strong enough, should look really good. And I think it's gonna work out nicely. Let's start making this motor mount.
But before we do that, let me tell you about our new merch and our giveaway going on right now. If you guys didn't already know, we're giving away this 2022 Honda Grom. Every $5 spent on bummotorsport.com gives you an entry. This giveaway ends July 22nd. That means there's less than 2 weeks to get an entry. So go get some cool merch and possibly win a super cool motorcycle.
All right, we got the motor mount all situated, and this thing is looking pretty sweet. I like the single-sided aspect. I think it looks original, and I think it is more than enough to hold this engine in place because we've also got those 2 rear engine mounts. Now it's time to move on to the electronics and to the controls. I think the controls could be a little difficult because we want them to work very well, but the electronics will be pretty easy. We just gotta make sure it's all clean and not gonna burn on anything or catch up in our chain. We left all the wiring in this bike, so it should be pretty easy to figure out where everything needs to go. We're just gonna start taking parts off of here, putting it on the floor, making sure it's all in order, and we'll take that wiring and put it in the Corvette. We got all the wiring out of the bike, and this looks so simple. Most of the jigsaws we've had, actually all the jigsaws we've had, have been modified wiring harnesses, and they're just super complicated and damaged and jank, and we never know where anything goes. But with this one, it's stock and it's untouched, which is just crazy for it being a jigsaw. Now we gotta figure out how to get all this stuff in our Corvette. And with all our other projects, we usually just jam this wiring in there, and it heats up, it burns, our machine stops running, we don't know why, has a whole bunch of electrical issues, and it's no fun. So we're gonna spend a ton of time making this harness really nice, integrated, and out of the way. All right, we got all the wiring done. It's cleaned up and you barely notice it anymore. And you guys probably watched about a 1 minute time lapse, but this took all day long to do. I'm not kidding. It took probably like 8 hours. It was insane, but doing something right the first time makes easy work the second time around. So I'm hoping everything works. We lengthened some wires, we shortened some wires. We also added over here this really cool key setup and this push to start button. So if we did everything right, this will be the first time that we get to hear this thing run. We haven't heard this thing run. This is like genuinely our first experience hearing our new exhaust system and a healthy engine. So we've got this test tank up here that's all plumbed in. We should just be able to turn this key and hear it. Are you excited, Taylor?
Dude, I'm so excited.
I'm diabolically excited. Let's see if the lights on the dash even come on. I don't know if it's even gonna work because we fiddled with the wiring a lot. Oh, we've got a fuel pump run. We got all the lights. We have an engine code. Perfect. That's how you know it's healthy. Should we just go for it?
Yeah, dude. It's been a long time coming.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
I'm like kind of nervous. And we got to remember not to run this for too long because there's no coolant in the system. Ah, man, I'm kind of nervous.
I don't know how loud it's gonna be.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh, that sounds so good.
That sounds so good!
Oh.
It's kind of choppy. Our first 4-into-1 exhaust, and it actually sounds pretty nice.
Dude, it does not sound bad at all.
Oh my god.
This sounds like a street bike.
We built a machine. Wow! Dude.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
That has to be the coolest thing I think we've ever built.
Definitely.
All the work is finally paying off. I think we have so many hours into this project, but finally it's starting to come together. A first start on the Corvette is diabolical. I feel like we got here a little faster than I was expecting.
Same.
And now it's almost ready to drive. We just got to do a couple more things, like add a way to shift it, a way to stop it, and coolant.
Yeah.
And then we're hitting the open road.
Yeah, that's it. We get to go.
We get to do spinner wheelies.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. I feel like a kid on Christmas. It's like,
woo-hoo! This is Bum's new toy, and it's actually functional.
And it sounds diabolically cool. That sounds like your bike or my bike. That just sounds like a street bike. 4-into-1 is the way to go with a 4-cylinder engine. Never, ever do 2-into-1.
No, we learned
makes
that.
It sound horrible. That sounds nice. All right, let's start building the safety components, and then we'll take this out for a spin. All right, so last night we got to hear the Corvette run for the very first time, which is a huge step forward. We also got all the wiring cleaned up, but there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done, like figuring out a real gas tank that doesn't sit on top of the engine, figuring out a clutch, figuring out where the battery is gonna go. It's just a whole bunch of small stuff. So we kind of just got to start on something, and I think the first thing we're going to work on is the clutch setup. So the plan for these controls is to mount them on the steering wheel. We're going to have throttle and clutch on the steering wheel. I think that just makes a lot of sense, and I think we'll just mount them right to this hub right here. So we'll have to make some holes, put some screws in there. Clutch will be right here, throttle will be right here. Super simple and hopefully easy to access. Our steering is off right now, but this is a 1-to-1 steering, so I don't think it's gonna be that bad when we figure out the steering like correctly, but we might have a problem there. One thing at a time though. Let's mount this clutch. Controls are done, and these are pretty nice if I say so myself. We've got a throttle right here, we've got a clutch that works very well. It's a little hard to pull, but you're really only gonna need it when you're rolling and getting started, and then you can just shift these motorcycle engines. So it should be pretty good. Now we gotta take care of the gas tank. And for the gas tank, I wanna pay homage. That's how you'd say it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Homage,
Yeah.
homage.
Homage. I would like to pay homage to the old Gixxer 750 that started this whole idea. So we're gonna use the Gixxer 750 tank, but the problem is it's just way too big. So we're gonna base our tank off of this, but we're gonna shorten it by cutting the top half off of it and putting a metal plate on there. So we'll retain the ability to have our stock fuel pump, which is super important with these engines. It will just be a little bit smaller. That's water, not gas, by the way. We're not that stupid. That's what the inside of a Gixxer tank looks like.
Okay.
It's a lot cleaner than I was expecting it to be, honestly. Just not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Is there any treasures in here? Not really.
No, it's not bad.
It's actually way cleaner than I thought it was gonna be. Now we have to figure out a way to close it,
Yeah.
which I think we'll just take a giant sheet of metal, cut this piece out, weld it all back together. And the reason we're not making a custom gas tank is I don't know how to weld stainless steel very well, and it's a lot of work. And this is already pre-designed and ready to go. So we just gotta weld a plate on here, figure out how to get gas into it, and then the stock fuel pump and all that good stuff, which will be really nice. And it's kind of cool to have the Gixxer tank, I feel like.
Yeah,
That's
like
really
you said, homage.
Shape. Looks like this Gixxer used to be red. A red Gixxer before it was spray painted. Interesting. I always like discovering what color a vehicle was when someone's got their hands on and spray painted it.
Why spray paint it, you know?
To be stealth, dude. You want to be stealthy.
Well, it looks horrible.
Stealth black? Think that looks bad, man? I'd paint a Honda Accord stealth black and rip around Spokane.
Honda Accord?
Said every Spokane resident ever.
True.
Okay, this gas tank is finally done. I'm super stoked with how it turned out. We integrated the original Gixxer cap, and just in Gixxer fashion, the key was broken, so we had to drill it out to get it in here. But it's all together and it's ready to go in the machine. I'm really want to put it in right now, but we just checked the clock and it's 2 in the morning, so we're gonna get some sleep, come back in the morning, mount the gas tank, figure out a brake, And I know I've said this a lot in this episode, but then we will finally take it for its first drive.
Well, coolant.
Oh yeah. And then we'll check the coolant and make sure it's not leaking everywhere. And then we'll take it for the first drive. But for now, I'm feeling pretty achieved and pretty tired. How about you, Taylor?
Yep.
All right, let's call it a night. All right, we're back today, and after seeing this tank, I'm so happy that we did this. It looks really cool, and it wraps around the engine when it's mounted, and that hides all of our wiring, which is pretty nice. Now it looks like very seamless. We just gotta figure out how to mount it, and to do that, I'm just gonna build 2 mounts that come off this engine mount down here that you probably can't really see, and then we just gotta figure out a mount for the top. It will hug the engine like this, hide all the wiring, and be very easy to use and hold a lot more gas than any other project we've ever had. All right, so we got our bottom mounts on, and now the tank can pivot, but there's not really any place up here to make a mount. So what I'm gonna do is take this piece of metal that we have laying around that's the perfect size for the bottom of our gas tank, and it's gonna go down here to the rear engine mount.
Kind of see it.
You can kind of see it, and the tank's gonna rest on it like that, so it can't move backwards, so then you'll tighten that bolt, it won't shimmy side to side, and then it will be just resting on this. I think that's the best way to do it. We can't really come up with a mount for the top of the tank. We wanna keep it looking simple, so we're just gonna weld this on the bottom, tank's gonna rest on it, and that should work. Our tank is finally done. It's not bolted on all the way yet, but it's where it needs to be, and it's going to be very solid once we tighten those bolts up. We've got the lines all routed. We've got high pressure lines that hold up to 300 PSI of fuel pressure, so they shouldn't be blowing up or anything like that. It's all wired up. So this is ready to go. Now we gotta move on to the brake. We've gotta figure out a place for your foot. So I'm thinking somewhere around here, and then we'll just go back to the OEM Gixxer 750 rear brake. And then hopefully this thing will stop. Well, it needs to stop because this is gonna be extremely fast. We can't play around with our braking system, so we're gonna spend a serious amount of time making sure that that whole setup works. We got this brake setup off of the Gixxer 750, and after looking at it a little bit, I think it's gonna be extremely easy to just build mounts off of the system that already exists and already works really well. So we're just gonna make a couple of brackets, and then it will weld somewhere like that, which will give you some grip for your foot, and it will also allow you to have a really good setup for your brake, because I have a feeling we're gonna be using this brake a lot, so I want it to function very well. Let's make some mounts and get it welded up. All right, so our idea for these mounts is to use some Doodlebug brackets from Go Power Sports. They were nice enough to send us a whole box of them, so we have a ton of options here. They kind of look like this. They have holes in them that might fit up to something on this brake setup, I hope. So we're gonna cut them down, weld them together, and then hopefully we'll have enough steel to take this whole situation and weld it to our frame.
This has got to be like the easiest brake setup we've ever made. And I think it's gonna work the best.
Probably the best brake setup we've ever made because we didn't make it.
Yes, we didn't make it.
It's just a Suzuki product. Does
And
that feel comfortable?
Yeah. Like super comfortable. It's like a normal brake.
And it's got some character to it. You know how the Viper will give you a burn on your leg?
Yeah, the Viper burn.
Yeah, the Viper burn.
Yeah,
This is the bum Corvette shin burner.
Yeah, and your foot's kind of close to the exhaust down here. You might get the heel burn. but I'll take that with good brakes any day.
Okay, so it took way longer to bleed these brakes than I could have ever imagined. It always does for some reason. If you guys have like a really good idea on how to bleed brakes better, Taylor and I would love to know because it's infuriating. How long did we spend? Like hour and a half?
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half to get a mediocre pressure in here, but if you pump it a couple of times, it works pretty well. Like, these are not gonna be moving. We're in neutral right now, and if I press, they're not moving. So we're good on that. Now, if you come over to this side, we've gotta figure out how to not have this chain get you in the foot, because that'd probably hurt pretty bad. So I think we're gonna use this diamond plate that we have laying around and go like this. Just weld it like that right there. And then you can still shift. Probably. I think you can still shift.
Yeah.
And you're protected from the chain. It's a simple solution to a severe problem. So let's weld this plate in, and then we'll move on to the battery, and then we gotta check our coolant, and then we can reassemble the body for the very last time and hopefully drive this thing. This has been such a long project.
Such a long week just getting everything.
You think, you look at the Corvette and you say, wow, it should be driving.
Or wow, it doesn't really look much different. What could you have possibly done?
But we have just been doing all the little things, and the little things sometimes take the longest time.
I swear, they take the longest.
All right, let's build this plate. We went through the entire Corvette, did a couple of things off camera, so I want to show you. But now we're getting to the fun part. We got to see if our frame is going to hold water, because our whole coolant system is running through the frame, so that's super important to check. So we'll fill the radiator up with sink water, make sure it doesn't leak, drain it all out, fill it with coolant. But we also did a couple of other things that I want to show you guys. We added these pod filters, and what's really cool about a Gixxer engine is the injectors are on the engine, so you can just have these cool little air filters, which is really cool. We plumbed in an air temperature sensor. None of our machines have ever had that, so I'm wondering if that's going to make a difference on how this thing runs. We got the tank all wired up. We put the battery and all the electronics inside the bed frame, wired up a couple of grounds, did some coolant lines just for the reservoir and stuff like that. So we're gonna fill this thing up with coolant, let it run, see if it leaks. And then we're pretty much on the open road to success. If it's not leaking, it should go into gear, it should drive, it has brakes. This has been a process, Taylor.
It's been a process. Jug 1 going in. I don't know how much.
I feel like it's gonna be like a couple gallons. That's a pretty long way for the coolant to travel.
Yeah.
I also really hope it doesn't leak, but it's probably a guarantee. I already hear it pouring out of the ground.
I already see a leak.
Where?
Somewhere down here.
How is that possible? As you can tell by the water on the ground, we found our first leak. It's in a spot I didn't even expect. We accidentally cut the frame right when we started building the frame, so there's a couple of cut marks. Nothing in the back end seems to be leaking, which is great, but we're gonna have to fix those problems really quick, fill it up with water again, and see where else it's leaking. Right about now, I'm starting to question why we ran water through the frame. This might be turning into a serious problem.
Yes.
Yes. I'm getting fogged out by all the water in here. Maybe we stopped the leaks, but
Maybe.
we've just begun. I was kind of hoping to get to the front at least.
I know.
All right, well, is it still dripping coolant?
This might be a trouble side, though. Who knows?
I think this is the trouble side, hopefully. Last night we went through this entire frame, welded all of the holes up that were leaking, and now it's not leaking, but it's not under pressure, so we have to start it. The first thing we're gonna do is put some gas in this tank, make sure it's not leaking, then we'll start it. The system will go under pressure. It'll tell us if there's any very tiny holes that we missed, and then we can finally put it back together. It was a bit of a letdown that we had to take everything back apart last night, and I started to really regret putting coolant into the frame, but I think we've got everything figured out, so let's start this thing. Our tank isn't leaking.
Nope. And the fuel pump primed.
Everything seems to be in order. Should we start it?
Yeah.
All right.
It's time.
The first under pressure frame coolant system test. How diabolically bad do you think this could be?
I don't know. I don't want to guess.
All right, let's not guess, let's just see.
Okay.
So we're gonna wait for this engine to warm up, make sure our fans kick on, and make sure that we have no steam coming out of our coolant, and then we'll reassemble it, load it onto the trailer, and head out of here. To the runway.
To the runway. Old reliable.
All right, we're out here at the airstrip, and it's time to finally give this thing its first test drive. I think everything's good. Everything's good, right, Taylor?
I think so.
We've got these pod filters, the brakes working. Do we have gas in the tank? Enough? I think so.
We should.
We should. So everything should be good to go.
Yeah, it's time to go.
I'm kind of nervous.
Well, we don't have traffic out here.
And it's good to be back at the runway.
Yeah. We moved shops, but they can't take us away from the runway.
Can't take the boys away from the runway.
Sounds so good.
Oh man, this is scary.
Well, just ease into it this time. It's first drive. Is that second?
First. Oh man.
Oh man, okay. There it goes. Oh! Dude.
Holy!
That thing looks so good.
Whoa. I didn't expect it to actually. I thought something else was gonna go wrong.
It sounds just fine.
It sounds great. That is quick.
We've never had anything that just works immediately on the first test drive.
No, everything I've ever seen is like a multi-hour process just to get it going.
Oh my. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The brake stopped working.
Okay.
But this thing is insanely fast, dude.
Dude, you look so good going down.
It is so rock solid. Like, you would not even believe how incredibly terrifying and insanely locked in this thing is.
Was it fun?
It was scary.
Was
I'm
it?
not gonna lie.
Does it feel like a car?
It feels like a guillotine,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but it does feel locked in. It feels like a car with like 1,000,000 horsepower. I think we make sure the brakes are good because that actually scared me coming towards this end with no brakes. Was like, whoa.
So they
and
just
then
gave out again.
They gave out, but I think we give it another run and get a little more comfortable with it. And then we can really kind of send this thing and see if it works, like premiumly.
I don't know, dude. This thing is a little fast.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Every time he touches the gas, you just hear the tires go.
It looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah, it's like. That's incredibly fast.
Oh, jeez. We got bolts on the ground. That's hot. What's this? Oh.
We lost something diabolical.
Yep.
What is that?
I don't know. I picked up a bolt and it was 1,000 degrees.
It would be.
It doinked my foot.
You know what it is?
What is it, Mom?
Take a look at this interesting piece of plastic.
That's our chain tensioner, man.
Yes.
No.
Is that the chain that flew off?
No, it was the chain tensioner, and what
Something
Wyatt
big
grabbed
flew
was
off.
a bolt.
That was the chain
the chain
tensioner
tensioner
bolt?
bolt. That was probably, yes, 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah,
Dude.
Immediately.
I'm so bummed. I wish you could have driven it.
Dude,
It is tracked out of control.
I was genuinely scared watching you fly down that time.
That was a second gear pull, maybe quarter throttle, and that thing absolutely rips. We did a good job building it. Maybe we need to beef up the tensioner though.
Yeah, it needs a different one. How fast do you think you went?
Well, the speedometer said I was going 80 miles an hour, but
believe it.
I don't know what it
At
actually
least
was.
60.
It was at least 60 miles an hour because it was, and it did a skid over there. I just
heard.
didn't have the like gumption to really give it because the brakes still don't work. But this is a test drive, and that doesn't even matter. We're gonna make the Corvette even more premium. It's getting a wide body kit, hood, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Then we'll do a top speed run, and then we'll actually be able to skid it around. But
We just needed to know what was going to break, actually.
yeah, this video, we got everything crucial that needed to be done, and now it's time to refine it, make it better, take it back out, and actually put it to its max. Going into second gear, it actually was hopping the front wheels for a second.
And, like, if you lose it on this road, you're going off.
You're going off. This isn't the best place to test such a premiumly fast vehicle.
Dude, I wasn't expecting it to actually look like it had 130 horsepower.
It feels like it has 1,000,000 horsepower, so we did something right.
All right, after further investigation,
We ripped some teeth off the sprocket. We lost our chain. We absolutely annihilated our tensioner, and that must have been the bolt that Wyatt touched because it's still like 1,000,000 degrees.
So hot.
the chain flew off.
and it hit my foot. So we're definitely gonna have to make a tensioner or something. Shifting's fine. You don't even have to use the clutch, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like what did it is we were starting to run out of gas. So in second gear, every time the gas would flow to one side of the tank, it would like go, shoo.
That makes sense.
And I think it just put way too much force on these parts. But beefing them up, probably not a bad idea.
We should probably just get actual street bike sprockets.
We've never built something of such power, dude.
It's
It's actually scary, kind of. We're getting some color right there.
nice.
We're also melting the body here,
Yep.
and we also broke the body here.
And we're melting it here. And
All 4 tires are melting it.
the lighting you can't really see, but this is all turning like warped black.
Yeah. We've got some things to improve, but it didn't overheat. It went through third gear at one point, and it's fast as the dickens. So I would call this a major, super extremium
Win?
success.
Yeah, this is a success.
This is a success. The controls worked really well. I wish there was reduction on the steering, but
That's just
you
fine
win
tuning.
some, you lose some, and we'll fine tune it later on. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked this one. I'm so happy with how the Corvette is functioning. We only really got to test it up to second gear, quarter throttle, but I already know it's an insane ripper. It's one of the most put together machines we've ever built, and it's really cool to see it on the road. Remember, there's less than 2 weeks left of our giveaway, so head over to bummotorsport.com and have a great day.